I'm going to show you step by step my content creation engine and machine for real estate agents that has gotten real estate agents 30,000 plus views every single month. We actually guarantee that to everyone we run this package with. And I'm going to give it to you totally for free so you can copy exactly what I do and you don't have to hire a company like mine. Also, stay to the end because I'm going to show you exactly how we record the content, how we edit the content, and then also, of course, how we implement an organic and paid hybrid strategy to get those guarantees that we talk about. Make sure that you're getting a lot of views and also viewed by the right kind of people. So stick around for that because I'm going to go through literally everything so you know how to do it yourself. If you don't know me, my name's Cole. I run Jarvis Media. We get these kinds of results for our real estate clients. This is what we've generated so far. These are numbers that need to be updated actually. So know what we're talking about, and hopefully you can take all this and use it for yourself. So let's jump right into how we do things. So first and foremost, I have other videos about creating content, but the first step is to just make content, and I highly recommend you just make it with your phone. If you have any sort of a modern phone, and when I mean modern, I mean like almost any iPhone, like iPhone 5 or above, right? Or the equivalent of, other kinds of like Android phones and whatnot. You have a good enough camera and a good enough microphone to just start making content. The difference between the crazy studio that costs like tens of thousands of dollars and your iPhone is going to be like less than a 10% difference on the quality of views that you get or the amount of views or amount of growth you can get. Yes, we see creators all the time, with these insane studios and amazing DSLR cameras, but they're only doing that because that's their profession and they've already maxed out the other 90% of things to get them an amazing audience and to get them the results they're looking for. As real estate agents, we don't have that level of content creation, and also honestly we just don't need it. So if you want to get into the tech world and you want to have all this fancy stuff, you totally can do that, but just keep in mind that you definitely don't need to, and I would argue probably your money is better spent in other places way before we ever get to that stage. So that's my disclaimer. But let's jump into it, and I'm going to talk about obviously how to use a phone, because when we record with our clients, we're usually doing it remotely, and half the time I recommend they use a modern cell phone if they have one, because it's going to be really great quality. And by the way, for this video, I'm filming on a my iPhone, so it looks crystal clear. This looks fantastic. So obviously no issues in quality there. But that's what you want to record. And I have other videos talking about what kind of content you want to record. However, I'm not going to dive into that too much. All you really need to know is that look at the common questions that you're asked. Look at the common questions that the average buyer or seller of real estate in your market has, or they ask you, or situations that you've been in that you think could be informative moments. There's a million things that you can talk about. And if you really are lost, use ChatGPT and then test out different things until you find the few content pillars that are really working for you. But once you've recorded that content and you filmed it and you have it on your phone, just filming it selfie style, that's totally fine. If you want to get a tripod, you can be, again, not needed. Then what you want to do next is airdrop that content to your laptop. Obviously, if you have an iPhone and like a MacBook, for instance, it's really easy to just airdrop that content right over. If not, I just highly recommend Google Drive. Most of us have Gmail. If you don't, it's free to sign up, and then you can just transfer your files over from the Gmail app on your, or the G Drive app on your phone over to your drive and then access that on your computer. Super easy to do it. This is another reason why it's nicer than using DSLR cameras where you have to get a memory card. You have to have a laptop that can accept the memory card and all of that kind of stuff. That's just kind of crazy here. So once you've transferred it over to your computer, then we get into the nitty gritty of editing. So I'm going to show you actually with a screen share an example of how we do this here. So let me go ahead and share this right here. So I'm going to open up CapCut here. I'm gonna pull up an edit I already have here for you. But I want to show you exactly what steps I take when I do this. So first and foremost, you can see me filming in my studio. You can see I'm even off alignment, but I still post this because at the end of the day, it gets the message across, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. And one of my favorite quotes is, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress, right? So I just filmed this, and this is just me talking to the audience about leads and how to work leads and a good way to think about leads for growing your business in the real estate world. Now, here's how we would edit it. Now, I didn't have multiple takes on this, or I just filmed them all together because I find that to be easier for me personally. However, most clients that we have, they have, some issues with actually filming content, and getting through the entire message without stuttering or saying any ums or whatnot, which Obviously, I do that all the time. I say ums and all that kind of stuff all the time. But if you don't have the patience to deal with that, and if you're not okay with that being posted, then you're going to have pauses and cuts and things to edit. So I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So if I were to take this whole thing from scratch here, what I would do is I would just kind of like totally delete everything here. I would have my video right here. I would download that, to my computer. I would have it right here. I would drag it in, and then I would bring it down here. And CapCut, the reason I recommend CapCut is because it's free. And so the really nice thing about that is obviously you have a great editing software at your fingertips, and you can edit this on your phone, but I recommend doing your laptop because you just have better features and it's easier to navigate. I think you're going to have a far better time, and that's at least what we do. And obviously, I'm showing you my process here today. So once you have your video in here, you'll see it's just going through and talking to the camera. Now, let's say I didn't like certain parts here. The first step that we want to do is watch the entire video through and just kind of make a mental note, be like, oh, I don't like how I said this thing here. Or let's say I didn't like this pause here that's coming up.
And the tricky thing is we don't know which ones they've seen. So
I thought there was a pause there, but I guess there's not.
we see all 14.
But let's say I didn't like how I said like we see all 14 or whatever, right? And I wanted to get rid of that. So what I can do in CapCut, and if you're familiar with editing tools, this is very common, but if you're totally new, I'm going to show you. Once you have the video in here, you can drag this little cursor over to the spot that you don't like, right? For instance, we can go over to certain spots and start cutting out parts that we don't want in the video. And this is the first step I recommend. So once you get to a spot you don't like, I recommend zoom in very closely, and you can see the little sound waves here that can kind of show you exactly when you're saying something, that if you're going off of, oh, I don't like how I said this word, or I want to get rid of this, you can kind of see the audio file right here below. So what you can do is then when you get to that spot, you just hit the little split icon, and then it's going to split it, and then go to the next section where, let's say the for instance, if this was an is over, then I can do that. I can hit this cut, and then I can just delete it. And what's cool is that CapCut will automatically drag this spot over now, so I don't have to go drag it like Adobe Premiere, for instance. You'd have to kind of dictate out everything. But I like CapCut because it's very user-friendly, does a lot for you, so that's nice. The drawback is you don't have all the options available, but I think they do a great job of striking that balance where you don't feel like you're really missing anything.
Messages, 14 of those.
So you can see now I have this cut in here.
14 of those.
And so that's how you'd go through and cut. So first step, you'd go through all the different spots of the video that you didn't like, that you want to cut out, and you'd cut those all out just like we did here. Next step is if you want to use stock video or stock footage, you can. I sometimes don't recommend it because a lot of times with real estate agents, we do this for our agents, but real estate agents, you'll find that this can take a lot of time. And I don't think it makes a huge difference if you're doing it yourself versus, if you hire somebody. If you hire somebody to do it for you, like my company, then we're going to do it because I think it improves the quality. But I would much rather recommend to agents that they just record the content and then cut it up so that it's clean and it's fast and it gets to the point very quickly. But you don't need to have all the glitz and glamour in there. If you want to do that, I'll show you how. There's a couple tools you can use, but what I'm going to do, for instance, is go to two different tools I'll show you for first here. So first is Pixabay. Pixabay is a free, royalty-free platform where you can get images or videos that you can use in your video editing. It's totally free to use as long as you make sure you're using the right uh, uh, license or whatever, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. But you can just search stuff up. Now, you know, this isn't going to be the best quality content in the world, but it's free and it's legal, and that's really important for us. So you see, I could put in like Los Angeles right here, right? And so let's say I say, oh, I really like this kind of old timey thing, or maybe I really like this like highway picture. It seems to be HD. I'm gonna click on this, and you see I can hit this download button right here, right? And you can see right here under Pixabay, it shows free to use under the Pixabay content license. So if you're curious what that is, you can go here and see how exactly you can use these. So it just says that you basically can't like distribute this in a misleading or deceptive way. You can't act like this is your photo, for instance, all that stuff. But I recommend to read through that. But then you can download it, and you can download this very high quality. I can download 2160 by 3840. That's fantastic. All I need to do is log in. I think I already have a thing here, so I can just log in pretty quickly. And then boom, I can go ahead and download that to my account here. So downloads right there, and then I can just go ahead and edit this in. So we'll pull that in. I just pull it up here, go to my downloads, have this image, drag it in, and then boom, it makes a new line here, which I can then put over top of my video. So what's cool about this is, when you're editing videos is that you have all these different layers for both audio and for the visuals. And so right here, what we're doing is we're just utilizing this track for the visuals and kind of putting it above my edited video so that it will just kind of sit there. So you'll see if we just play it right now.
Nurturing is if we send 14 messages, 14 of those, but the other person isn't necessary.
So you see, that's how you can edit all this stuff in here and make sure that you're, getting the image in the right there and all that good stuff. Now, there's animation and stuff like that too. I'll really quickly touch on because again, not needed, but sometimes it's kind of nice. Let's say, actually, I'll just do movement first. Let's say you're doing imagery right here and you want it to kind of move because let's say this looks too stagnant, right? I might make this a little shorter. And then what I'm also going to do is go over to my position section. So what you have right here are these little keyframes, and that basically says where you want a image or a video to start and where you want it to end up. So let's say I want this to slowly zoom in, right? What I can do is I can hit this position button the way it is right now where it's full screen, and you see that makes this little keyframe right here. And then I want to go later into the image, and then I want to make it zoom in. So I'm going to actually use the scale slider and zoom in a little bit, just a tiny bit, right? And then I'm going to hit this little scale button right there. And so now, if I put that in the end here, and I think I might have messed it up. I did mess it up. So what I actually did here was I used this first keyframe for position, and then I used the second keyframe for scale. But it has to be the same basic thing. So I'm going to get rid of this first keyframe here by clicking it. You see it's highlighted blue. It's kind of hard to see. Delete it. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the scale keyframe now, not mess it up again. And then I'm going to make this 100, back to where it was in the beginning, right? So now I'm going to drag that to the front. I had the other one dragged to the back, and then now you'll see when I play the video, it'll slowly zoom in.
14 of those, but the other person isn't necessarily.
Right. And you see those lines at the side, those are just because I had the video selected. But if you play it again,
messages, 14 of those, but the other person isn't necessarily.
So that's how you basically can edit an image to do what you want it to do. And there's a million versions of this. You can use the position so that you can say, oh, I want it to be like over here. And then later on in the video, I want the position to be, you can actually just drag the image itself over here. Then I can do that, put in a keyframe there, and then you'll see the image will actually zoom and move a little bit.
But the other
right?
person.
I mean, that looks terrible, but you get the point. Now, the other thing I mentioned too was another way to get stock stuff. So what we use is a platform called Artlist, and this just has a monthly payment. I think we paid a yearly package in here, but I can just go to footage and I can just get unlimited of these stock videos. I think that stock videos look a lot better than stock images. You can use both, but just if we're doing this all the time, it makes sense for us to invest in this platform. I think it's like $1,000 a year or something like that. So it's not cheap, but you do get some really high quality stock video. And again, you can use this as many times as you want. You get as many downloads as you want under the plan, at least that we have. And so you can use this to your advantage if you want to have some really fancy stuff. But again, I recommend starting small. So once you have that and you have your video cut up the way you want it and you have all the stock imagery and stock footage that you want, the next thing I would recommend doing is I would do what's called creating a compound clip. So you see that in this first video that we put in here, we have all these little cuts right here. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to put them all back together. And there's a couple reasons why we want to do that. So we've cut this all up, getting rid of the parts that we don't like and the ums and all that stuff. Just imagine we did that for the entire video. And then what's cool is that if you see in this video right here, there's a jump when I have this first cut right here.
Messages, 14 of those.
See how there's that kind of weird jump? It just kind of suddenly.
14 messages, 14 of those.
I'm cutting to just saying 14 of those. When that happens, let's say that looks maybe a little disorienting. I don't think it looks terrible, but if you don't like that, that is where a really good spot to kind of smooth it out by putting in these additional images or stock video and having those come up when those transitions are happening. So that way you have these cuts that look a little jarring, but when you have these videos come up, it kind of smooths all of these things out. So that's the reason I like to do that a lot, and why it's helpful to keep those little spots in here, because you'll see as I move this clip along, it's going to snap into place when I have one of those breaks in this video here, and it's going to line up automatically. So once I have that, then once I'm done with all of these images and stuff, now I don't need that anymore. So now I can create my compound clip. So now I'm going to drag and select all of the videos, sections of the video in this main track here. I'm going to right click or double click if you're on a trackpad, and I'm going to go to create compound clip. So it's going to load for a second, and then you see now it's smoothed it all out. So that cut is still there. It's just now only, it's not registering as two separate sections. It's one big section. The reason we want to do this is because if we start to do any sort of audio processing, it's going to be a lot better for it to be one clip, and also it's going to be easier for CapCut's captions. CapCut has great captions options, but sometimes it can be a little finicky. So I found that this is actually really helpful. Actually, my editor found this out, which was really helpful for us. But once we have that, then you can either go into captions first or audio. I'm going to just do captions really quickly just to show you. But you have all these templates down here that once you click on captions, you can drag this down, and then you can go and look at all of these different ones. So it'll give you a little example of what it will look like, and then it will automatically generate the captions. Huge time saver. If you've been making videos for more than like 5-6 years, this is a newer thing, automatic captions, and it saves a ton of time. But let's say I go here, and let's say I like how these captions look. Let's do these ones right here. Why not? So I click on that, gives me a little demo here of what it would look like. And then I'm just going to hit generate captions. Now that is a pro feature, so that's only available in CapCut Pro, which I think is about $10 a month. I think it's super worth it, and I would recommend that to agents because again, the time savings is massive here. But if you don't, obviously you don't need captions. It's just helpful. A lot of people see videos with the sound off. So I think it's just helpful. But now you'll see what it kind of looks
I
like.
got a lead for one of my clients after 14 messages over the past month of trying to get them to respond.
Now, I think that looks good. What I would do is go through, watch this whole thing, make sure there are no issues. If, like, let's say something is spelled wrong, you would just click on that one caption. The text box would open up here, and let's say I would just need to fix it here, and I would just type in the new word here, like fixed thing. That's obviously not what I say there, but if you need to fix it, all you gotta do is do that, and then you're good. You can obviously also adjust the font size here, all that kind of stuff. Make it bold, adjust some color stuff. The only other thing I might do here, because I have this white t-shirt that makes it a little bit difficult to see what's going on, is I might just go down here and click this background option, and so it just has a black text so that way I can see the captions more clearly. Also, a little pro tip here, when you post this, this is the full ratio of the video. On like Instagram and YouTube and stuff, if you're making shorts, you're gonna have your little logo right here. You're also gonna have the text of your video right here. Like if you make a big long caption or text for the post, it's gonna show up here and get kind of blocked out. So I like to edit, make sure the captions are a little bit higher in the middle, bottom, like kind of lower middle. That seems to be a good spot where you're not going to get in too much space here, too many issues. So once you have all of that stuff good, then you can now go to your audio section. So this is where you want to click away. You want to go back and click that main video that has not been compounded, and then go to audio. And this is really nice if you, some of these are pro features, I think most of them are, but what you can do no matter what is you can adjust your audio if your video is too quiet or maybe it's coming in too loud. You can adjust your audio here. If you have the pro features, you can do normalized loudness. So if you're talking and the room's a little bit noisy, this can help out a little bit. Or sorry, if you're too quiet, if you are in a noisy room, that's what reduced noise is actually for. It's very good, by the way, at getting your audio out and cutting out all the other stuff that you don't want. And then enhanced voice is a nice thing. It just kind of smooths everything out and just makes you a lot easier to hear and just sounds a lot more professional. So that's great. We use this all the time because a lot of times we're working with videos from clients that are not professional videos. So this is massively helpful. Okay, so let's say you have everything edited here. I know I'm skipping through it very quickly, but I want to be conscious of your time. There's a lot of other features that you can use here, effects, you can use filters, you have these fancy transitions that I think are a little over the top, but you have all of these things available to you. So I recommend checking them out. A lot of them are paid, but a lot of them are free. So check those out. But once you have everything, then you'd go to File and Export. And by the way, I think I mentioned it, but I'm doing this all on the desktop version of CapCut, which I find is immensely better to use. You can do this on your phone. I just don't think it's as helpful. Now there's a couple cool features here. So one thing you're going to want to name it, make sure you always name, your videos the proper name. So I'm going to name proper name. Ha ha ha. But that way you can keep track of it. Make sure obviously you know where it's going to go. I'm just going to say to my downloads folder, hit open there. And then resolution. So here's a little tip that I recently found out. So if you post a video that is like 4K or something, it's automatically going to get reduced on Instagram and on a lot of other platforms. I'm pretty sure X does this as well. So I always recommend just do the resolution at 1080. It's going to get just reduced down, and it's better to export it in the right resolution than to have a high resolution, put it on the platform, and then get it automatically like squashed down, and that will look far worse. So that's what we like. MP4 is obviously what we want. Frame rate, if you have a higher frame rate, you can definitely do it. You can do 60 frames per second if you want, but 30 is totally fine. Another thing that's cool, if you want to just export the audio, you can do that. And if you want to export just the captions, I think this is a paid feature, but part of the Pro plan. But what you can do is just get a little text folder as well. And then you can do all that stuff. And I didn't mention too also, let me actually hit cancel here. You can make a cover photo. So basically what this does is, if I delete this here, if I hit this cover button, what I can do is then use a frame from the video to be my cover photo. And what CapCut's gonna do, it's really smart. It's going to make a small little frame, like a couple frames of like a picture, and it's gonna put that at the front of your video. And what the social media platforms will do is that if you don't upload a separate cover photo, what they will do is they will automatically take it from like the first couple frames. So you can make a nice looking cover photo or cover image, put it at the front of your video so that it automatically gets put as your cover photo for most platforms. Not every platform does it, but a lot of platforms do. So I'll show you an example. So if I hit edit here, I take this photo, I have all these different like options here to kind of make this fancy stuff, daily makeup is kind of funny, so I'll use this as example. So obviously, yeah, it looks so it kind of automatically does stuff, but I'm just gonna use this as an example because you get the point. There's tons of options to choose from here, but in a lot of ways you can really customize all this stuff. Super cool. But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna save that. So now it's gonna make this little image, and it's gonna put it at the front of my video right there. Okay. So then you can export it, and it's going to export with everything. Like I said before, all the settings we want here. And then now if you want to, all right, maybe it does it automatically, but I think what it does is it's going to actually export the cover image separately, which is cool. But I'm going to hit export.
Real estate agents,
And it's automatically, because CapCut is owned by TikTok, it's automatically going to have this all set up where you can post it immediately to a platform. You can set that up if you want. I don't personally do that. Once I've hit the download button or the export button, we're good to go. So I can hit cancel. And then now you see if I go to my downloads, I have the video right here. And I have the video,
real estate agents,
but I also have the cover image as a separate video or a separate file. And then I also have the exported text right here. So what's cool is that you can do some awesome stuff. If you record a video, you can have your transcript here, and then you can use that for ChatGPT and make text-based posts. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this. Even turn this into a blog, which I'll show you in a second. So once you have all of that, now we are good to go for the next step here. So just to make sure I'm still filming everything. Okay, great. So then next what we want to do, now that we have the video set up, we've edited everything, we've exported it, now we're good to go, and now we want to post it to the social media platform. So what we're going to do is slide on over to Google and jump into our ads manager. Or rather, I should say, sorry, first, our social media manager. So you can take that video and then you could re-airdrop it or re-Google Drive it back to your phone and then post it on your social media platforms that way. That's totally fine. You can definitely do that. Or you can use a social media manager. If you're not familiar, this is like Hootsuite or Buffer. There's tons of them out there that you can use to post automatically to a social media platform. And you can set it all up so you can post to all platforms at once. You can schedule them ahead. Very helpful tool if you do a lot of social media content, but they can be kind of expensive sometimes. So instead, what you can do is just post it manually. Again, you can do this with your phone. If you want to post it to Facebook and Instagram, but you want to do it on your desktop and you want to schedule it, you have a built-in feature for free called Meta Business Suite. If you're not familiar, you can just go to business.facebook.com on a laptop that you already have access to, your Facebook pages through, and it should automatically go if it loads anytime soon. Yeah, so here we go. So automatically going to a my platforms here. So you see I have a billion pages. But what I can do is I can post directly here. Once it loads the right page, I can just go and hit create post, and I can upload, hit create a post, or I can hit create a reel, but it should automatically become a reel. Add a video, add it from desktop, and I can add it in that way. Click on that folder, click on the video, and boom.
Real estate agents,
So it would do that. Now, what I would want to do in this case is I would want to go back actually, and I would want to make sure that this is actually a reel. So I hit create reel, then I would upload it, and that way it's going to be it's going to be far better. So we can do it that way. Now, if you use a social media manager tool, tons of them out there. A lot of people like different ones. If you're open to trying a new one, I recommend our platform here, which is Jarvis Social Manager. So we're building it right now. It is in beta, but you can get it for 2 weeks for free and try it out, see if you like it. What's really cool is that it's got a lot of different features in it. We're still testing things out, so it's by no means perfect, but I think the value to what you'd get from other places is monumental, which is the only reason why I advertise it, even though it's not fully finished. But I'll just give you a quick example here because we have it pulled up. So when you set up your account, you can do your marketing tab, and just like any social manager, you can add in all of these different accounts. And then you can have it so they post all to these immediately. You can also connect communities such as like Facebook groups or other things like that that you can then post to automatically from here as well. That's pretty similar to a lot of other platforms. What I really like is you can also make groups. So let's say you have groups for wide videos and then groups for like, vertical videos like reels and shorts. You can do that. You can add an unlimited number of accounts here. And of course, there's a couple other really cool features such as AI and things like that. But the other part about Jarvis Social Manager that's really neat is that you can build out automations. So this can work like a normal CRM here, and you can have a ton of different automations that also can integrate with your social media, which is super cool. I've just barely scratched the surface of what we can do here, which is awesome. By the way, you can also host your website. If you, let's say, don't love what your brokerage offers you, you can utilize the website here to build out a WordPress site. Actually, you get a discount for having a WordPress site if you purchase it through this tool, which is built out of Go High Level, which is awesome. And there's a bunch of other stuff too. We also have some courses available that you get for free when you sign up that will just give you access to understanding how to use the platform, and then also our recommendations for understanding social media, followers and views, how to use all of this kind of stuff, and get a lot of benefits out of everything here. So there's a lot of stuff here. I'm not even getting into all of it. You can even just request us to make ads for you. Super cool feature. So it's a really elaborate, but I don't even have time to get into all of it today. So just to keep you in mind, if you're shopping for a service, that is, I think it's by far the best bang for your buck. Last thing, you can also use your calendar to replace Calendly. You can link this up with your Google Calendar or another calendar that you have, and replace your need for Calendly that way, which I think is super cool. Okay, now let's get into posting this. So I'm going to use this as an example, but keep in mind that you can use other social media managers this way, and it's going to be very similar. So I want to create a new post, and then I want to post it to certain pages. So I could select a group here, or I could even just scroll down and say, oh, I want it to post to my Facebook here, I want it to post to my Instagram here, I want it to go to my LinkedIn, I want it to go to my LinkedIn business page, and I want it to go to my TikTok, and I want it to go to my YouTube. So I'm all set to post to all these different places. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little button right here, which shows the video. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go and hit upload here to upload the video that we just did, this one right here. Boom. And then once that is uploaded, then I should be ready to go and I can start to post this video here. Now, what's pretty interesting about this whole thing is that I'm going to be able to obviously post to all the accounts. I'm going to use a different actually example because this is taking a little bit to load. And then also I know I already have a version in here somewhere from how I actually edited that video originally. And I think this is the one here. But I apologize, my internet is a little bit slow. Yeah, okay, great. So you can see this is already pre-edited using the same system that I just walked you through. Now, what's really cool is I can now choose, if I don't want it to be this thumbnail here, I can hit this little button, hit custom thumbnail, and then this is where I could go to the upload button and then go to that custom image that CapCut exported for me right here. Or if I don't want to do that, I can even just hit this little arrow and I can just choose one of them. So if I say, I like this one where I say, I guarantee you, I hit save changes, and then that's my thumbnail, right? So then I should be all good to go for all the platforms. Now what's cool is I can choose how I want this to post. And I always recommend posting Reels and Shorts. I think those are the best performing right now. So I hit Reels for Facebook, Reel for Instagram, TikTok, and I want people to be able to comment, duet, and stitch, because if they want to give me more exposure, why not? And then I have YouTube, and I'm going to post this as a YouTube short. Now I have all this stuff here. So what's really cool, if we take that download that we just did, and we go to the text section, right? So you can see here, I have all this text, this transcript from what we just did here. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go to this little AI button, which I think is super neat, and hit generate with AI. From here, I'm going to say, basically how to um, leverage leads. There's definitely a better title than that. But now what I can do is I can even just paste in my transcript and it will know what to do. Or if I want this better, I can do something like, you know, make a great, this is just like any other AI tool like Go High Level or like ChatGPT or anything like that. Make a great social media post using the following transcript. And I could say like, make it more convincing or make it more appealing to local buyers or sellers and all that kind of stuff if I wanted to. But I'm just going to keep it at that for now. And what's nice is that it makes you do keywords. I highly recommend agents, make sure you put in your local area as a keyword. And you can have a ton of these. I could do that. You could just put in real estate. You could type in realtor. You could type in new home. You could just put in a ton of keywords in here, and it's automatically going to use those in your AI generated post. Then you can say writing tone, I want this to be professional, or I want it to be funny, or I want it to be casual. I'm going to say I want this to be sarcastic, because why not? And then your length, you can make it a larger length, you can make it a shorter length, whatever you want. I'm going to say that, let's say I also want to use this text for a blog. So let's say I'm going to make this long for me because I have those keywords. So it's kind of great to build out a blog from this as I'm building out my social media posts. When we hit generate, it's going to take a couple seconds because I asked it to be longer. So it's going to need to work for a little bit longer than normal. But then once it's ready to go, it's going to give me this example. It's automatically going to put it in the text section of each of the social media posts, and then I can edit it further. So you'll see here this long ass post. Check this out. So this is breaking news: the secret to converting leads revealed. Hey there, all you Syracuse real estate savants and home hustlers. Have you ever fantasized about the magical formula for waking up those sleepy leads? Well, buckle up. I'm about to spill the tea. So, a lot of personality here, right? And obviously you can tweak it. You don't have to go with this, but it gives me 3 different options. I can always ask it to do more if I want to. If I just hit generate new content, it'll just keep going until I find something I like. But once I have something I like, I'm just going to hit copy. It's going to put it into the chosen content. I can update this. I could say I don't like this paragraph, so let's get rid of that part. And then, add in whatever I want. Hit continue. And then now it's automatically putting it in my post here. Now, what I recommend is not having too long of a text for certain platforms because that text, as you can see here in this little demo, this is going to be way too long. And it's kind of taking up a lot of space. It's a little distracting from the video. So what I want to do is I actually want this to be customized for each channel because I can still get a lot of benefit out of this long text here with all these keywords that are built in. So under Facebook, I'm going to go and say, you know what, I just actually want. I can keep the hashtags if you want. I actually don't use hashtags anymore because they just don't help. But a lot of people still like them. So if you want them, you can still have them in there. But I'm actually going to delete all of that and just have this section for Facebook. I'm going to do the same for Instagram as well. I'm just going to take all this, go boom. LinkedIn, I actually is really great for long text, so I keep this full for LinkedIn. TikTok, I do the same as Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to delete all of this and then just have the shorter section. And then YouTube's a funny one. So YouTube, I actually want to keep this headline and use this for the actual title, but then I keep this for the body because this will become the body of the YouTube video. And then this part, the title, this will be the title of the video. And I might want to get rid of the emojis, but I can have all that. So once it's good to go, you can do a lot of stuff. You can hit follow up comment. You can automatically send like a link to your website or something like that. Certain platforms it's not going to look great, like Instagram. That doesn't You can't link to things in the comments, but other platforms it will be fantastic, like LinkedIn, like YouTube, like Facebook. So I highly recommend to do that in those platforms. You can also post as a story as well or a reel. You have that option. But once you're good to go, you can just go ahead and hit post, or even go and say, hey, you know what? I want to schedule this post for like tomorrow at 9 a.m. because I think that will, be a better time for my audience to see the video, for instance. So you have a lot of flexibility. Obviously, this is actually something we already posted, so I'm not going to post it right now. But then once you're good to go, you can hit post and you are set. Now, the last step here that we want to talk about who stuck around this long, which I appreciate it if you have, is of course how we start to guarantee views. So step by step, we have filmed our content. We have edited it down using CapCut, which can be free. We have moved it over and posted it to a social media platform or multiple platforms or all of our platforms if we so choose, and that's fantastic. But now we actually want to guarantee that we get in front of the right people, we get in front of enough people that we're actually seeing results for the efforts that we're making. So let's go back over to the screen here. So once we have all that stuff, once it's been posted, I have a strategy that we use for Jarvis Media for all of our clients, which helps us guarantee the views and guarantee the followers also for our clients. I'm going to talk about reach here, but you can do a similar thing to get more followers, which I will talk about in another video. I think I've touched on it before, but I'll have an updated video soon where I'll talk about this strategy. But now what we want to do is go to Ads Manager, which is a meta tool, so we can use it for ads for Facebook and for Instagram. Now, you can do the same basic thing for TikTok, for LinkedIn, for YouTube. I tend to find the best bang for the buck on the Facebook and Instagram platforms, so I recommend those ones, and that's how we do it. But here's what I recommend to do. So this is different, by the way, from boosting your post, and I'm going to explain why. So you can boost your post once you posted it. I don't love it as much. I think it kind of leaves a lot on the table. So I recommend if you're going to do the strategy, go to adsmanager.facebook.com. Again, if you're on a laptop that you already have access to Facebook with, this should log you in. You might need to build out an account if you're completely new to doing this. It does not take very long. You can just go to YouTube and type in, how to build a Meta business account or how to build an ads manager account, and plenty of tutorials will walk you through it in about 5 minutes. Once you have that, then you want to go here and you'll see you have campaigns, ad sets, and ads. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty about ads because this is a pretty streamlined process. All you need to do first is hit this create button. And what we're going to do is use an awareness ad. Hit continue. So now it's important to name this. So I'm going to say like leads post, maybe even put the date, if you want to do that. It's good to keep track of these because the more you run, the more complicated it starts to get. So I'm just going to say that. Now, important for all real estate agents out here, you will have to use the housing category. Even just for something like this, it will be important if you've ever tried to run ads on videos and they haven't gotten accepted before and they've gotten taken down, then that's probably the reason why. It's because you haven't done this right here. I see it happen all the time. So that's pretty good. That's all we need to do right here. We can now go to our ad set. I'm going to just use the same kind of title here. And then I'm going to pick my page. So I would pick my page here, Jarvis Media Consolidated. And then you have some options here. You can maximize the reach of your ads, maximize the number of impressions, maximize through plays, maximize 2-second continuous video plays, maximize ad lift recall. Don't worry about this. I really don't think you need to worry about this too much. But here's what I'll say. If you want to get in front of the most people possible, then I would click on this button because reach refers to unique people seeing your content. If you just want to get the most views possible, I would hit maximize number of impressions because an impression, you can reach 2 people and have 10 impressions because both of those people saw the video 5 times. So reach is the number of unique people seeing your content. Impressions are the number of times your content was seen altogether, including people seeing it multiple times. Um, and then those are the main ones. I would probably start off with reach. Now, what you can do too is if you really want to get in front of more people who are watching your video all the way through, who are really engaged with what you're talking about, like a higher quality of viewer, that would be maximize through play videos. So basically, it's trying to get people to watch for more than 15 seconds. So that is going to be aimed at, of course, getting people to watch for longer because a view counts as just like 2 to 3 seconds on the platforms. So you can get more, you'll get less views doing it this way, but you'll get higher quality people who are watching all the way through because they really enjoy the content. Now, video view goals, under here, you can also have the maximize 2-second continuous video plays, which is very similar. But basically, this is going to be essentially that you're just trying to get people to watch, 2 seconds through continuously. So it's kind of like a light version of maximize through plays. There's more complexity behind it, but I'm just going to keep it brief for this video. So I'm going to say maximize reach of the ads. Don't worry too much about this. You can keep this default. You can look into it if you want, but it's not going to make that much of a difference for most beginners here. Budget and schedule, you have a lot of flexibility here. Unlike leads campaigns or like link click campaigns where you're going to need to have a somewhat decent budget, reach campaigns you can get a lot done for a very little price, which is why I really recommend them. So I oftentimes just do $5 a day. Most people can get behind that. That's like basically a Starbucks coffee now. Make your coffee at home and get a ton of views. I probably shouldn't swear, so I won't. For the same price as that latte that you want to get at Starbucks. I think that's a really good use of your resources. And then you want to get to your audience. So, as you know, you can't get too nitty gritty, but you can get nitty and gritty enough. So let's say that you're in Glendale, California. You can target a 15-mile radius. Now, obviously, that includes a lot of LA and a lot of these areas that are not maybe where you want to target. Here's a couple of ways that you can fix that. If your video is talking exclusively about the Glendale real estate market, even though it's an ad, guess who are going to be the people who see that content? It's going to be people who are interested in Glendale ads or in Glendale content. So even if your stuff is getting seen by folks in Pasadena, if you have content that talks about Glendale, even though they could get served the ad, very few people are going to unless they're interested in Glendale. So sometimes this radius being kind of big is actually more helpful than hurtful. I know a lot of people want to target like a specific zip code like we used to be able to do like 5, 6 years ago. But I tell you, really, like, I'm going to be honest, you don't want to over exclude your audience. You want to have it more open because as long as your interests are properly set up and the ads know what to optimize for, it's better to give them more bandwidth than too little bandwidth. So that's what I recommend. By the way, same applies to leads, and that'll be a whole nother video. But once we have it there, this is an important step. We do want to change our placements because if we're trying to get more views on our videos, we want to be able to track that. And yes, we can track it in the complicated insight system that we have on Meta Business Suite or on Ads Manager, but it's easier just to be able to track it on our page. So let's say we're optimizing, we just want to get more Instagram videos. We want to have our placements be manual placements. And then we want to unclick Facebook, Audience Network, and anything else. And we just want to go to the sections where we're going to be able to count this for a view. So you can be as stingy as saying, hey, I only want to get Instagram reel views. I don't even want to get stories. I only want to get Instagram reels. So I'm going to unclick everything that isn't Instagram reels. And guess what? All of my views are going to come in the form of Instagram reels. Now, will you get less total views? Yes. But you'll know all of your views will be here on the main platform. Now, if you want to throw Facebook into the mix there as well, you can totally do that. Obviously, nothing wrong with that. Facebook's a highly underutilized tool, so I'm actually very bullish on Facebook, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So let's just say that, yeah, we do want to go on Facebook Reels for this example. Then I would hit next. Uh, Now we are going to go to ad setup, and this is where instead of creating a new ad, what we're actually going to do is use an existing post. So we have my proper account here. I already posted the actual video, not the one we edited, but the actual video that we did to the post here. And we have this selected. Hit continue, and then you will see eventually this little preview will come up here. Sometimes this issue comes up where it says this video is not ready to use. It's still being processed. You can still publish it. Sometimes you just have to hit publish twice or something. But that is no problem there. So keep in mind, this is just taking your normal Instagram post that we already posted to the social media manager, and then it's just putting it in front of the audience that we're targeting. Again, I under specify the targeting because I want the people who want to watch my ads to watch my ads. I don't want people to not get my ads simply because, they don't perfectly fit into my targeting. If I'm talking about the right stuff and I'm talking about real estate information that's only going to pertain to potential buyers or sellers in my market, then I want all of those people to be able to see the content. So don't overly restrict. Let your content be what dictates who sees what. But then you can also put a call to action in here. You don't have to put one. And by the way, if you want it to look more natural, you can just have no button in there, and that's totally fine. But if you do want to have, might as well put in like a learn more button or something, then you can put that in there. And you'll see that there'll be a button here that allows people to click that and learn more here. So this is a great way to just also get some traffic, to your website or something. Definitely doesn't hurt. But if you want it to look like a real natural post and not let people, get like, oh, this is an ad and try and swipe by it, then you can just get rid of that and it looks far more natural, as you can see here. So ultimately, that is the main way. You'd hit publish here, and then after a few minutes, as long as you make sure to check that special ad category, you would be good to go. This is a tactic that I use all the time for our real estate agents. It guarantees views. With $5 a day, you're gonna get 30,000 plus views a month. And if you're just putting that on Instagram, it's gonna be your Instagram page that's just getting all those views. So it's a really, really underutilized way to get fantastic viewership, to get viewership that's highly targeted, not like random people, but actually in the market that you're looking to get business from. And by the way, one thing that's not talked about enough is how much brand awareness helps your lead generation. We oftentimes think about them as two separate things, but what ends up happening is that when people become leads and they go through the sales process, their conviction or their level of trust is a massive indicator on if they will actually purchase or work with you as a client or not. But if you have a lot of great content that fosters a relationship with your audience, that constantly shows up, that's helping them with the questions that they have before they even become a lead for you or a client for you, that is how you can improve your sales funnel. And I can't tell you how many times that I get on calls with people and they say, "Oh yeah, I checked out your content," and the chances of that lead closing for me are way higher because they've seen my content, they understand that I'm knowledgeable about my field, and there's a higher level of trust. Whereas if somebody's coming in completely cold, it's like the difference between like a referral and a cold call when you're prospecting, right? Massive difference because you have a relationship in one way and the other way you're a complete stranger. So that is the benefit of reach. A lot of agents underestimate it, which is why it's a huge advantage to anybody who's gotten this far into the video to use for yourself. So take this to your advantage. Rewatch the video at the sections that you need help with. Let me know if there are other parts of this you need me to dive into more clearly. I know I'm going through it fast, but fast going through it. It's still a 50-minute long video, so that'll have to do for now unless you have further questions. And obviously, this is a way that you can get amazing benefits without having to hire a company like mine to do it for you. But if you want a pro to do it, you can just check out our information down below. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one.